Neblett Beard and Arsenal Legal Difference segment returns. Wes Gralapp is back as we continue to talk about litigation. We've gone back and forth on litigation over the last few weeks. So, Wes, thanks for coming in. Good to have you.
Glad to be here, Mark. You know, over the last few weeks, we took a little break to cook, right?
Right. And it was good. That jambalaya was delicious. We're looking forward to the gumbo, by the way, before we get going. And we can't wait for some of that gumbo.
Well, I've been watching the weather, and it looks like it's going to cool off next week, and so it'll be time. It'll be time. So in the past, we were talking about what leads up to trial.
Okay.
And we were basically talking about the discovery phase. And today we're going to start talking about the trial phase. And the first thing that happens from the position of our viewers is that they'll get a yellow card in the mail.
Right.
And that'll be from the parish, and it'll say you are summoned to appear as a juror, and everybody panics. They don't know what to do. But it's our duty to serve as jurors, and we're happy to have our citizens become jurors. And so what happens is that they all come into a room, and we call it voir dire, where both sides get to question the panel of jurors who are randomly selected by the clerk. And
the pool is usually how many people do
usually
they
it's about 150 or so.
Yeah, I knew it's a large number.
And we're trying to narrow it down to 12, or in federal court sometimes it's 6.
Okay.
But, and so both sides have a right to talk to the jury, the potential jury members, and ask them questions about their thoughts, their ideas, their political motions and so forth. And so find out if there's any real bias or prejudice.
See if there's going to be any, obviously any bias from the participants.
That's right. And in some instances there are, but for the most part, people who serve on our juries are there to do their civic duty, and they can put aside some of their own personal beliefs unless they have really strong convictions or close ties to the members of the litigation. And so we select our jury.
Right.
And while we're selecting our jury, what we want to do, this is our first time to introduce the concept of what's going to happen. And so when we're asking them questions about their beliefs or experiences, we also introduce facts of the case and ask them things like, well, would you have a problem awarding someone money if we prove that they were injured in a car accident?
Okay.
And that just kind of introduces them to what's about to happen.
Right.
And once we narrow it down to 12, and you have what you call strikes, where each side is allowed to strike a potential jury member without cause. And then you have strikes for cause, where you can challenge that jury member to the judge outside of the jury presence and ask the court to excuse that juror because of something that they testified to when asked questions about their prejudices or biases or familiarity with the case.
How long does it usually take to select a jury?
A morning.
From your experience.
The judge wants to get that jury in place and get that trial going. So usually, sometimes it'll take as long as a day, but mostly, a morning.
Okay. So. And then you talked about, I think, general objections, and you touched on that a little bit, correct?
That's right. I mean, sometimes there will be a questionnaire, like in federal court, that people fill out, and that gives us an opportunity to screen them more in advance of this process. But you can object to a juror based on their prejudice that they've expressed, that kind of thing. But for the most part, you can just simply say that person doesn't feel right for this case, Judge, and you get 6 of those.
Gotcha.
Each side. So
this has been in the headlines. Amber Geiger trial over the last few days. She was
very interesting.
Found guilty, sentenced to I think 10 years, I believe, in prison. You followed it a little bit? Your quick reaction?
My quick reaction is that this is a great country and we have a great system. That jury paid attention to the facts, and only that jury can make the conclusions that they did, and that includes the punishment. And so it's important as we watch these things on television that we understand that the process works. And in this instance, a very, very tragic loss for these people.
Sure was,
And a just and appropriate punishment can only be meted out by the jury and the court in that instance. And so justice is served.
There you go. All right, Wes, quickly, if somebody wanted to get in touch with you at Nebula Beard in Arsenault, the best way to do it?
Call us, 561-2500.
Got it. Thanks for coming, Wes. Good to see you again.
Thank you.
More to come. We're going to tell you about the Triad Lunch that's hosted by the Grant Parish Sheriff's Office, so stick around.